A warrior is only as powerful as their weakest link. A kingdom is only as strong as its weakest wall. And you are only as successful as your weakest mindset. What is your weakest mindset? Your weakest mindset is that which holds you back from taking action. Your weakest mindset is what tells you that you cannot do something. Your weakest mindset is that which makes excuses for why you haven't done something yet. It might be fear of failure, fear of success, procrastination, or laziness. Whatever it is, it holds you back and it keeps you stuck. This is why we must learn how to break our weakest mindset. But in order to do this, first we need to find out what it is. How do you identify your weakest mindset? You can use the FEAR acronym to figure out what your weakest mindset is. This acronym was shared with me by my friend Ali Abdur. F stands for fear of the consequences of taking action. So if you have F written down, that means that when you take action, there are certain consequences that you are afraid of. So think about those consequences. Write them down right now so that you can see them. And then ask yourself, are these consequences really going to happen? Or are they just things that I am imagining in my head? Sometimes we imagine all sorts of terrible things happening if we take action, but when we actually sit down and write them out, we realize that they're not as bad as we thought they were. We start to see that maybe we don't have as much to be afraid of as we thought. So moving on, E stands for excitement. This means that you may be excited about the possibility of taking action, but that excitement is very short-lived and you quickly lose interest. Does this sound familiar to you? When you get a new idea or you want to start something new, are you excited about it? Yes. But then does that excitement usually wear off very quickly? If so, that's a sign that fear of the consequences or fear of failure is holding you back. Because here's the thing, if we're really excited about something, then we'll take action even though we're scared. Why? Because the excitement of doing that thing is worth more to us than the fear of what could go wrong. The next letter is A. This stands for avoidance. And avoidance is another sign that we are letting our weakest mindset hold us back. This is because when we avoid something, we are running away from our problems. Instead of facing them, we are trying to escape. So if you find that you're constantly avoiding the things that you need to do, this is a sign that you are letting your fear control you instead of the other way around. And finally, R stands for results. The results that we get from taking action can also affect whether or not we let our fear hold us back. So if you have a fear of failure, one way that this fear can manifest itself is by giving up too soon. Maybe you started out with a lot of motivation and excitement, but over time you lost interest and now you're struggling to stay motivated. Another way that this fear can show itself is by procrastination is basically waiting for the perfect conditions so that you can finally start working on the thing that you're afraid of. But the truth is, there is no perfect time to do the things that we're afraid of. The only way to overcome this fear is by taking action, even though we do feel like it. This is why it's so important to understand our fear. By understanding it, we can start to work through it, and eventually we will come out the other side, stronger and more successful than ever before. So now, let's talk about how to break your weakest mindset. Now that you know what your weakest mindset is, it's time to break it. But how do we do this? How do we get rid of these negative thoughts and beliefs? There are 3 things that you can do to help you get rid of these mindsets, and the last one might surprise you. Number 1. Become aware of your thoughts. The first step to breaking any pattern is becoming aware of it. So if you're constantly thinking negative thoughts, then you need to become aware of those thoughts. The best way to do this is to start paying attention to the things that you say to yourself. For example, if you're trying to lose weight but you keep saying things like, "I'm too lazy to go to the gym today," or "I'm not disciplined enough to stick to a diet," then these thoughts are holding you back from achieving your goal. they are creating a barrier between you and your success. The same is true with anything else in life. If you want to be successful at anything, you must first believe that you can be successful at it. And one way to create that belief is by changing the way that we talk to ourselves. So next time you find yourself thinking a negative thought, stop and pay attention to it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or is it holding me back? Once you become aware of your thoughts, you can start to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it inspire me to take action, or does it make me feel like giving up? If the answer is no, then it's time to change your thoughts. Create new thoughts that are positive and empowering, and the best way to do this is by using affirmations. An affirmation is simply a positive statement that you repeat to yourself in order to change the way that you think. For example, if you want to be more confident, you could say, I am confident, or I am getting more confident every day. The key to affirmations is to say them in the present tense, as if they are already true, even if you don't feel confident right now. By saying, I am confident, over and over again, you will eventually start to believe it. And once you believe it, it will start to become true. No. 2. Don't tolerate destructive behavior. We all have friends who are always negative. They complain all the time, and they never seem to be happy. These types of people are called energy vampires, and they can really bring us down sometimes. Sometimes we might even find ourselves acting like them. We might start to complain more, and we might start to look at the negative side of things instead of the positive side. And while it's important to be aware of our negative thoughts, it's equally important not to tolerate destructive behavior from ourselves and others. So if you have a friend who is always negative, it might be time to distance yourself from them. If you find yourself complaining all the time, then it's time to stop. Complaining is a form of escapism. It's a way of running away from our problems instead of facing them. And while it might feel good in the moment to complain about something, in the long run, it doesn't solve anything. In fact, it just makes us feel worse. So, if you want to break your weakest mindset, you can't allow negative people or negative behavior into your life. And number 3, fake it till you make it. This is the last and most important tip. No matter what your weakest mindset is, you can overcome it by faking it till you make it. What does this mean exactly? Well, let me tell you a story. There was a young man who wanted to become an actor. He had big dreams and he wanted to be in Hollywood, but he was very shy and insecure. He didn't think that he had what it takes to be an actor, but he really wanted to try. So he decided to fake it till he made it. He started acting like a confident actor. He walked around like a confident actor. He even started talking like a confident actor. At first, it was very difficult for him. He felt awkward and uncomfortable. But he kept at it, and eventually it started to become natural. He became more confident and more successful. This is the power of faking it till you make it. We can convince ourselves of anything we want to if we repeat it often enough. We can fake being confident. We can fake being motivated. We can fake being successful. And in doing so, we will eventually become these things. This is why it's so important to be careful of the messages that we send to ourselves. If we keep telling ourselves that we are weak, then we will eventually become weak. But if we tell ourselves that we are strong and capable, then we will eventually become that as well. Remember, we become what we think about. So if you want to break your weakest mindset, fake it till you make it. Act like the person that you want to be. Walk like them. Talk like them. Do everything that you can to become that person. And eventually it will happen. You will become the person that you want to be. Just remember, it all starts with your mindset. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up below and comment down below. Mindset is everything. Thank you so much for watching.